there's a problem in New England. Mostly we focused on Belichick and Brady, but I think there is an issue. Greg Bedard, who wrote this story, is an authority on the New England Patriots. There's an issue between Belichick and Robert Kraft. Belichick hiring Josh McDaniels as coach in waiting or on the staff as coach in waiting, when he turned down that Indianapolis job, that was a red flag to me. This, to me, feels like Belichick's last year in New England.
Robert Kraft's the owner. He can do what he wants to do. That's the ultimate bottom line. Belichick answers to Kraft. The problem is Kraft is giving Belichick the leeway to do what he wants as if it's his team. And now that Kraft has interjected himself in saying, okay, McDaniel's going to be the coach waiting. Okay, we're going to trade Garoppolo. Belichick is like, what? When have you ever done this? I pretty much get to run the show. I do what I want to do. And so now that Kraft is saying, no, you can't. This is my team. He's feeling some type of way about it.
Yeah, I think he is feeling some type of way. But to speak to the friction, I think the friction really has existed from the Super Bowl. You go back and you do all the things that you're asked to do, and James obviously knows, to sacrifice, to give of yourself, to check your ego and do all those things. When you lose, it is harder to look at the guy the same way, particularly when there hasn't been the conversation about whatever took place in the Super Bowl. I think we are beginning to see some of the cracks in the foundation of the New England Patriots and the foundation that has made them perennial champions.
I don't feel like his tenure will end. I think his tenure will end when he decides he wants it to end. And just from me being there, I feel like just from conversations I've had with him, that's going to be sometime in the next few years. Maybe 2 or 3 years. I don't see it obviously being next year, but it's a possibility it could be.
You were just there a short time,
yes.
But to me it seems odd, Josh McDaniels turning down that coaching job and coming back to New England. That makes him the coach in waiting, and Belichick is always a one-voice guy.
When is the coach in waiting? Is it this year, next year? When do you think that is?
I think Robert Kraft has made some promises. There's been nothing publicly leaked or said, but I think Robert Kraft has made some promises. I think it's one more year. That's why Belichick isn't addressing it.
If that happens, Josh McDaniel takes over. Tom Brady will prove that Belichick is not the reason he's winning. Tom Brady will play one more year.
He can't prove that.
Why can't he?
He can prove that he's look, Belichick's
a great coach. I'm not taking anything away from him.
Bill Parcells never won a Super Bowl without Bill Belichick.
I'm not taking anything away from him, but ultimately, the players play.
Like I said, I was there for like a short period of time, but even with me coming in looking for stuff, it wasn't blatantly obvious to me. I didn't see anything between their interactions when they did talk that made me think, oh, they're having issues. But like I said, I was there for, 5-6 weeks, so.
After the Super Bowl, have you stayed in contact with any of the Patriots in terms of the people question about what happened with Malcolm Butler?
I actually talked to Matty P, and what it came down to is they
thought... Matt Patricia?
Yeah.
Okay.
What it came down to is they thought that his practice leading up to that point, wasn't up to par.
So he didn't want to really tell you the truth.
That's what he said?
That's pretty much what it was. He didn't want to tell you to practice. The dude performed all year as one of your better defensive players, but he had a bad week of practice. Come on, man.
Well, and I think that goes to the distrust. You talk about being in a game. We've all been in games where somebody is struggling. And when that person is struggling, players would go to the coach and say, Coach, we got to get him out. And so the fact that Malcolm Butler is healthy and available, and at no point did they put him in, it's hard to look at Bill Belichick the same way when you're a player because he cost somebody a ring.
And you stopped giving Alex Guerrero access. You stopped giving Dr. G access.
He has access, dude. I've seen him.
No.
I've seen him walk through there.
I know for...
I've seen this dude walk through there. He may not have access to other players as far as doing other things that he do, but he walks through that locker room. But he gets what he needs out of that training room.
He wasn't given the access that he once had was taken away, and I know that for a fact.
Some things were taken away. I couldn't tell you what they were because I know what access he did have while I was there, and I was expecting not to see this person at all.
Did he work on you?
No.
Man,
I got my own method.
And when you got that big money,
I want to stay here, though, on Alex Guerrero for a minute. Is that different than any individual trainer you saw in Pittsburgh having access in the locker room or to individual players in Pittsburgh?
That's a big difference. They got their own thing there. I haven't had any like actual outside people that were coming in that they didn't have approved to work on the whole team, and it wasn't just just one individual.
So the Alex Guerrero situation wouldn't have happened in Pittsburgh.
I don't know. I mean, it depends. Like how he's been with him forever. The man's 40 years old. He's still playing at the top of the game. He's rated number one player in
If
the
Big
league.
Ben wanted to have his own personal trainer, the Steelers probably would have allowed it.
Hell, that's a lot of money.
I think a lot of teams would allow a guy, if they're paying for it,
right.
if the player's paying for it, a lot of teams will allow a guy to work on that player within the facility if the team does not have to foot the bill for it. A lot of teams will allow that.
And you, knowing Alex Guerrero, you've known him as long as anybody, you think his access being cut off bothered Tom Brady?
I believe
and
it
bothered
did.
Alex Guerrero?
I wouldn't say it bothered Alex, but I know it bothered Brady. It had to, because this is a guy that is keeping me healthy. That's not only me, guys on the team. Gronkowski, Wes Welker when he was there, Amendola, Julian Edelman, they're all going to see this guy. He really knows what he's doing. So it had to bother Tom. It had to.
Is that you have a guy that is not in your training staff, that is not, the actual head trainer, and you got somebody else coming in from the outside, and they're saying, hey, now they're seeing other players besides Tom, and they're saying, I want you to do this and do that. Well, it's the total opposite of what the trainer is telling them to do, but it's something that's going to help them. What you need to realize is training staffs in the NFL are so far behind as far as their upkeep of what they need to do to have these guys help.
Ice and stem.
Ice and stem. That's all they do. Ice and stem. You come in here, you break your hand, let's ice and stem. You pull a muscle, let's ice and stem.
Ice and
that's
stem.
not the protocol for everything. Things have changed. They have technology. They have studies that show it's different ways of doing things, and we're so far behind.
But I think the one thing about that, if you talk about the Patriots being a one-voice operation, that goes counter to that culture of Belichick and the staff and everyone kind of controlling it. You can see where there could be some friction created by Tom Brady maybe going over top of Belichick to be able to get Alex Guerrero in the building and having access that other guys.
And as you get older, and Brady's been there so long, you kind of just get tired of the guy just on your neck all the time. Like, bro, let me breathe sometimes.
I'm going to defend, we'll wrap here, but I'm going to defend NFL teams in this regard. I guarantee that one of the reasons their training staffs are ice and stem and very primitive and basic is trying to protect themselves from a potential lawsuit. If you do some of the cutting-edge things that maybe an Alex Guerrero does and it doesn't work, next thing you know, you're involved in some sort of lawsuit. And so they keep it very simple as a protection. That may be why
I think
they're
that
so
should be
behind.
liable for neglect, because now you're not giving me the proper treatment I need to recover.
And see, the thing with Alex is, like, I think people perceive him to be this witch doctor. All he's doing is working your muscles. He doesn't have all these different contraptions and machines. He's just working on you, just him. He doesn't have these different machines that he has you using at all.